Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So for this video, I'm going to do a review of Coming to America. This is the sequel to the original film that was done over 30 years ago. And I just want to share my thoughts. I know I'm super late. This movie came out, I think it was like last weekend or whatever. But I just wanted to chime in and tell you all what I thought about it. And I want to hear from you. What did you think about Coming to America? Overall, I thought that it was very entertaining, very funny. I thought it was a feel-good movie. As my ex-wife said, it was a feel-good movie. And I like the idea that you have a film about Black romance. Like, I know a lot of people get caught up in the jokes and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, both the original Coming to America and the sequel are about Black love. That's what they're about. And I'm glad to see a film that celebrates Black love and Black relationships and stuff like that. In this particular film, the original Prince, Hakeem, I can't remember his name, but the Prince, and I'm not one of these people that has watched Coming to America a million times. I've watched it a few times. It is a great film, but I'm not one of these people that know all the lines and all the characters and all that stuff, very well. But anyway, the original Prince fell in love with this American woman, and they got married, at the end of the original film. And here we are 30 years later, and they're still married, and they had like 3 children, 3 girls and everything like that. And I think that that's a positive thing to see a film that celebrates Black marriage, because you rarely see that, unfortunately. You rarely see Black films celebrating Black romance, Black love, and Black relationships. And it's just great to see a film like this, even though it's a comedy and everything like that, and it's lighthearted. It's great to see a film like this, and it's uplifting. And another thing that I want to say about this film is I like the positive images of Black people, period, and of the African continent. Overall, it's positive. You have Black royalty, Black kings and queens and princesses and princes and all that kind of stuff. I think that that is a positive thing for Black people to see positive images of Africa. When we have been flooded with all this negativity when it comes to African images. We're flooded with the images of war, of famine, of savagery and primitive culture and all that kind of stuff. So it's refreshing to see a film that's uplifting African images. And it kind of reminded me of Black Panther. It's not on the level of Black Panther, but it's still positive. And for that reason, it needs to be celebrated. Because I remember as a kid growing up, we would watch cartoons in the morning, in the morning before school. And then on Saturdays, we would watch like Bugs Bunny and all that kind of stuff. And on those particular cartoons, they had like Africans depicted as savages, Africans depicted as cannibals. For instance, they would have the image of, somebody goes to Africa or whatever, and they're hanging out with these Africans, and, the Africans give them some necklace, and the necklace is a necklace of herbs, like garlic and all that kind of stuff. And they think they're having a good time, and then they end up being the meal. They end up putting them in a pot and all that kind of stuff. Those are the types of images that we saw, Africans with bones through their noses and all that other crazy stuff. So it's refreshing to see some positive images of a Black family in Africa, Black people as royalty and all that kind of stuff. Even though there are some goofy moments where they do have this character who's depicted as some kind of military dictator, but it's lighthearted and it's funny, but it deals with something that's real in Africa, where you have these military leaders, and, in certain parts of Africa, you have military dictatorships. So that's one particular thing. One of the troubling aspects of this film is, this problem of colorism, which is a problem that was raised back in the day when the original was put out. And I think that that problem still exists today to some degree, but to a lesser degree than the original film. Even one of the actresses that played in the original film talked about the colorism issue. Because here, in the original, you had this light-skinned character, this light-skinned black woman who was like the love interest. She was presented as feminine. She was presented as beautiful and all that kind of stuff. She was presented as having class and dignity. But the dark-skinned sister of hers was depicted as loose, depicted as crass, depicted as a loudmouth and all that kind of stuff. So it was like they made it seem as if a dark-skinned woman is less desirable than a lighter-skinned woman in the original. And to some degree, that stereotype continued in this recent one because you have this woman who is, the princess baby mama, is a dark-skinned, loudmouth woman, masculine type of woman, has no sense of femininity, no class at all. And she's funny and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong. It adds humor to the film, but it's like it perpetuates that stereotype of the dark-skinned woman as unattractive. And, and it presents the black dark-skinned woman as like having no class because this woman in this film basically, today we would call it rape, where she's has sex with this guy who is unconscious or whatever. Like, I mean, he's conscious, but he's out of it because I think he got drunk from what I recall, and he's out of it. And this lady is overly sexually aggressive and has sex with him against his will and against his, without him really knowing what's going on. So that would be rape in today's culture and stuff like that. And that's what she basically does to him. This is the dark-skinned character. And she has this out-of-wedlock kid that Eddie Murphy's character doesn't know about until like 30-something years later. So it's a lot of negative images of the dark skin. That's a negative image of the dark skinned woman. I'm not going to say that's all this film was about or that all the images of dark skinned women were negative, but I think that was an example that perpetuated the negative image of dark skinned women. So that was one thing that I had to point out, because when you compare that to Eddie Murphy's wife again, like his wife in this movie is light-skinned, she's a dignified, regal, royal woman and stuff like that. But then you got this low-class, loudmouth, masculine, overly sexually aggressive type of woman on the other hand. So again, that perpetuates negative stereotypes. The only positive counter to that is the fact that, in this film, you do have positive images of some dark-skinned women. So that helps to try to balance it out. Like, for instance, the love interest of the new prince is a dark-skinned woman. And then you also have Eddie Murphy's daughter in this film who will become the queen instead of the prince becoming the king. She's a dark-skinned woman, and she's depicted as intelligent, as strong, as, having knowledge and everything like that. So they try to balance it out, but I think that there's still an element of the colorism issue for the reasons that I pointed out. Another thing about this film is they deal with this issue of sexism, and some people have referred to it as like some kind of feminist agenda and all that kind of stuff. Because in this film, they deal with the issue of women having to be submissive. They deal with the issue of women not having the right to leadership, despite their skills and stuff like that. Because here you have a situation where the whole safety of the kingdom is in jeopardy because Eddie Murphy's character doesn't have a male heir. At least he didn't think he had a male heir. So he was in jeopardy by this other kingdom or whatever, this other rival. And, and the whole time he has this daughter here who is, you know, worthy of leadership. She has the necessary skills to carry on the legacy, but because she's a woman, she cannot ascend to the throne and all that kind of stuff. So they deal with that issue. And I don't see anything wrong with them addressing that issue. I don't see it as a part of some kind of conspiracy, feminist agenda, blah, blah, blah. I don't see it that way. You know, because in African history, you've had African queens and, you know, African women lead nations and stuff like that in certain circumstances. So I don't have any problem with an African, you know, with a woman being put in a position of leadership and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with dealing with the issue of sexism in African culture, because it is an issue in African culture. You know, you have problems of, in certain African cultures rather, you know, you have the issue of, female circumcision, you know, forced marriages in certain parts of the continent, you know, child marriages. Those are serious problems and issues that need to be addressed. So I don't have any objection to them bringing the issue of women to the forefront in this film, you know, because I think that there's something disturbing about somebody not being entitled to a position simply because of their gender, when they're better qualified, they have more knowledge and more skills than their male counterpart. Because here you had this prince, for instance, who didn't know anything about the culture, didn't know nothing about the history, didn't know anything, period. He spent most of his life in America. He didn't even know that he had this royal family that he was related to or connected to. So he knew nothing. He wasn't really fit for leadership. And just because somebody has a penis, that doesn't make them more qualified necessarily to lead. And with that being said, like, I'm not one of these people who has a problem with black male leadership. You know, I think that men are the leaders in society and stuff like that. They should be the leaders in the household and the family and the community. But I don't think that women should be absolutely denied leadership when they are qualified and all that kind of stuff to lead. You know, we have plenty of great black women politicians, and I think that they're worthy for their positions. So those are my thoughts about the film. Tell me what you thought. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, so tell me what you thought about the film. What did you think? Did you think it was good, bad? Why not? One of my friends on Facebook called it a black exploitation film for 2021. Tell me, do you agree or disagree with that, and why or why not? So anyway, peace and blessings. Have a great day. Tell me what y'all think. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Encourage your friends to subscribe to this channel so I can get 10,000 subscribers, man. I've been at this 9,000 number for too long. Help me get to 10,000. Peace and blessings, y'all. Have a great day.